Today's menu: chaos, controversy, and Twitch favoritism. That's right, Hasan Piker is back at it again, and this time he's comparing himself to MoistCritical, dodging lawyers and somehow managing to brandish a weapon on Twitch without so much as a slap on the wrist. If you don't subscribe right now, you might just have to share your next pizza slice with Logan Paul. And let's be honest, he's not giving you a bite. Now, quick recap. Last time we talked about Hasan, he was doxing and threatening a viewer over a hate comment. The problem? He didn't even get the right guy. That's right, he falsely identified a completely unrelated person live on stream, mocked him, and unleashed his fanbase on an innocent bystander. How did the wrongly accused man say? He posted, "Damn, that's me. I definitely did not comment on any of the messages he read, but thanks for calling me an at least skinny dude, I guess." The craziest part? Hasan still hasn't issued an apology. His viewers went after this man, an innocent stranger, with threats and harassment, all because of Hasan's baseless accusation. The responsible thing to do would be to apologize and clarify the mistake, but of course, this is Hasan Piker we're talking about. Accountability is not in his vocabulary. Twitch? Radio silence, no bans, no statements, no moderation. It's as if doxing innocent people and inciting targeted harassment just isn't worth their attention when it comes from their favorite political golden boy. So let's get this straight. Hasan doxed an innocent man and waved what appeared to be a gun on stream in the process, yet Twitch still hasn't stepped in. This man literally pulled out a weapon live on air while falsely accusing someone and sending harassment their way. But sure, let's pretend that's equivalent to MoistCritical making a satire video on Sneeko. Spoiler alert, it's not. After being called out for his reckless behavior, Hasan tried to deflect by comparing himself to Charles White Jr., aka MoistCritical, who famously responded to Sneeko with a video that jokingly featured him holding firearms. Hasan's logic? People didn't care when Moist did it, but now they're mad at me. Sounds reasonable until, facts enter the room. Let's talk about context. MoistCritical was responding to an actual threat. Sneeko had made several aggressive videos, even posting clips of himself dancing with guns while directly referencing Charlie. Charlie, in turn, used satire and clearly denoted firearms to make a humorous but impactful video reply. Now compare that to Hasan's situation. He was reacting to a generic hate comment. Not a credible threat, not a confrontation, just a rude message from an online rando. Hasan then pulled out what appeared to be a gun, flashed it on stream, and simultaneously showed a random guy's face, falsely identifying him as the commenter. He didn't just respond to a troll, he turned an innocent person into a target. The difference? MoistCritical never doxed anyone. Hasan did. MoistCritical responded to a person who publicly attacked him. Hasan went after a random stranger. Moist's platform was YouTube, where TOS are different. Hasan? Twitch, where people get banned for saying someone looks chubby. And yet, somehow, Hasan gets a pass. Legal experts like Andrew Esquire, aka Legal Mindset, have already commented that Hasan's actions go far beyond bad taste. Brandishing what appears to be a weapon in tandem with doxing someone, especially when harassment follows, can lead to legal consequences depending on jurisdiction. Even if it's an airsoft gun, it's not about whether it's real. It's about what a reasonable person perceives, and if someone believes their life is in danger, that's enough. So what happens when you point a fake gun at someone, show their face, and incite your followers against them? According to Legal Mindset, it's not just unethical, it might be illegal. Brandishing a weapon, even a fake one, can be considered threatening behavior under the law. Combine that with doxing, and you've got a double whammy of potential charges. The legal logic is this: if a person reasonably believes they are being threatened, it doesn't matter whether the weapon is real. You don't get a just kidding card after the fact. Think of it like bringing a fake bomb onto a plane. You don't walk free because it was just for laughs. The fear and disturbance you caused are real. The consequences? Still very real. Legal Mindset also points out that Hasan has now paired these actions together, doxing and brandishing, which creates a far stronger case against him. And Twitch? They're just letting it slide. So far, Hasan hasn't been banned. Not even suspended. At best, people speculate he'll get a 24-hour ban on his day off, which is about as effective as grounding your kid from Fortnite while he's already asleep. This selective enforcement is the core of the issue. Twitch has previously banned creators like Destiny's Son for waving around a toy gun with an orange tip. GDM was permabanned for spamming L+ ratio. Meanwhile, Hasan doxes and brandishes weapons and gets nothing. It's clear that Twitch has a problem, a Hasan problem. And the favoritism is not only embarrassing, it may soon be legally dangerous, because unequal enforcement of platform rules could lead to breach of contract lawsuits from other creators or even consumer protection violations, as Legal Mindset outlined. Legal Mindset doesn't just stop at the obvious. He dives deeper, explaining that Twitch might not just be dealing with a PR crisis, it could be opening itself up to massive legal consequences. One of the biggest issues? Unequal enforcement of Twitch's own terms of service. If Twitch punishes one streamer for an offense but gives a free pass to another, like banning someone permanently for a toy gun while letting Hasan slide after doxing and flashing a weapon, that's not just unfair, it may violate contract law. See, streamers are business partners with Twitch. They agree to the same rules. If Twitch enforces those rules unevenly, they're breaching that agreement. Now, Legal Mindset admits that proving breach of contract is tricky, but there's an even juicier legal angle: consumer protection law. Nearly every U.S. state has laws against unfair or deceptive practices, especially when a company misrepresents what users can expect and Twitch's terms of service. Nowhere does it say everyone will be banned, except Hasan. Nowhere does it say rules apply unless you share this one political viewpoint. So if you're a streamer who got banned for a minor offense and you lost subs, sponsorships, or your entire income, you might have a legitimate consumer lawsuit. You could claim Twitch deceived you into thinking the rules were fair and consistent, but in reality, they were protecting their favorite son. As Legal Mindset sarcastically put it, Dan Clancy probably meant to put that in the TOS. This is a Hasan Glazer platform. If the CEO of Twitch literally celebrates Hasan's birthday on stream and refuses to act against him, well, that might not go over great in court. Let's zoom out from Hasan himself and look at the Orbiters, his loyal online allies, because things are not going well over there either. Take the so-called Ethan Klein Legal Defense Fund. This was supposed to be a big public show of strength. Streamers like CaseyTron, Frogan, and Denims asking their fans to donate tens of thousands of dollars to fight lawsuits. The result? A grand total of around $41,000 raised, and then it completely flatlined. Denims, for example, reportedly raised only $10 in the last 12 hours. That's not a war chest. That's barely enough for an Uber Eats order. Meanwhile, CaseyTron is out here beefing with Ethan, fundraising for a copyright lawsuit while live streaming an actual movie. That's right. While being sued for copyright infringement, she decided the best fundraising idea was to commit more copyright infringement. You could make this up if you tried. And people noticed. Clips went viral of her watching entire films on Twitch live while asking for donations for her legal battle. That's not fundraiser. That's an audition tape for a second lawsuit. She then took a break from that to post about her road trip, calling Ethan Klein jealous of her $60 a night hotel in Branson. She claims she'd never misuse GoFundMe money, but if you're low income and still too broke after 10 years of streaming to afford a basic attorney, people have questions. What happened to all that revenue? Then came her usual insult accusations, ranting about bad faith campaigns and misogyny. But the public's patience is running out. Instead of gathering support, she's getting roasted even by her own viewers for constantly playing the victim while live streaming her downfall. And remember, this is the crew that's supposed to be Hasan's digital army, but their numbers are dwindling, their wallets are dry, and their lawsuits still unpaid. Back to Hasan, his response to all of this: he brushed it off, insulted Legal Mindset, and dismissed all criticism as right-wing freak nonsense. He went on a rant claiming that Legal Mindset wasn't even a real lawyer, despite the fact that Andrew Esquire is indeed an actual licensed attorney. Hasan called him a passport bro and mocked the idea of taking any of this seriously, saying he wouldn't waste time on MAGA drama perverts. But here's the kicker. Calling a real lawyer a fake lawyer can actually qualify as defamation. Legal Mindset pointed that out himself. If someone falsely claims you're not licensed to practice law, especially while you're discussing legal analysis, that crosses a line. And it fits into a larger pattern. Hasan regularly insults anyone who questions him, even his own fans. Viewers who ask reasonable questions get mocked, labeled as idiots, or accused of supporting extremism. It's not community building, it's cult leader behavior. And it doesn't stop with Legal Mindset. Asmongold chimed in, saying that Hasan calling someone else a passport bro is rich, considering Hasan himself visited a German brothel years ago, one that was reportedly raided over trafficking allegations. Again, not a good look. Then came Teone's response, roasting Hasan's entire meltdown from his overreactions to his refusal to take any accountability. He sarcastically said, "I dox a viewer and point a fake gun at the camera, will I get banned too?" Spoiler alert, yes. Because if anyone else did what Hasan did, Twitch would launch them into orbit with Frogan. And that's the problem. Everyone sees it. The favoritism is beyond obvious. Streamers are losing patience. Viewers are getting angry. Advertisers, probably nervous. If Twitch doesn't act soon, they're heading for a total apocalypse, one where bad PR, lost sponsors, and legal liabilities spiral out of control. And the worst part, the good creators, the ones who follow the rules, will be the ones caught in the crossfire. So let's bring up two more names that put Twitch's double standard into the spotlight: Destiny's Son and Gideon. First, Destiny's Kid caught a permanent ban on Twitch for waving around a toy gun. It had an orange tip. It was clearly fake, and it didn't involve doxing or harassment. But Twitch didn't blink. Instant permaban. No warning. No 24-hour slap on the wrist, just gone. Now contrast that with Hasan. He waves what appears to be a real gun on stream, doxes the wrong person, and Twitch says, enjoy your weekend. Then there's Gideon. He got permabanned from Twitch just for spamming A+ ratio in another streamer's chat. Specifically Pokemons, that's it. No threats, no weapons, no doxing. Just a dumb meme. And for that, permaban. No mercy. Yet here we are watching Hasan do all of the above, and then some, while Twitch sits on its hands. The message is crystal clear. If you're not one of Twitch's political darlings, you're disposable. The enforcement isn't just inconsistent. It's deliberately biased. Even Ethan Klein brought up the hypocrisy, pointing to Destiny's ban and saying, so we're banning kids for toy guns, but Hasan flashes one live and gets nothing. The crowd agreed. So while creators like Destiny and Gideon face the full wrath of Twitch moderation for minor antics, Hasan gets a day off and some birthday cake from Dan Clancy. Cool. The deeper this rabbit hole goes, the worse it looks. Not just for Hasan, but for Twitch itself. Legal Mindset explains that Twitch's biggest risk isn't public backlash, it's legal chain reactions. If Twitch keeps this up, banning smaller creators for peanuts while shielding high-profile ones for serious offenses, they may face class action lawsuits from multiple sides. Imagine a group of banned creators teaming up. They've lost revenue. Their sponsorships evaporated. And the reason? They followed the rules or broke them in far smaller ways while watching Hasan break them worse and walk free. That's textbook unfair and deceptive practices, and it's the kind of thing lawyers love to take to court. Worse still, Twitch is a platform with a huge IRL streaming scene. People walking around cities with cameras, live streaming public spaces. What happens when a smaller creator sees Hasan flash a weapon and thinks, I guess that's allowed now? If they try that stunt in public, someone could panic. A bystander could call the police. Someone could get hurt. When the lawsuits start flying, guess who they'll blame? Not just the streamer. They'll point fingers at Twitch for setting a precedent. Twitch has created the illusion that the rules don't matter if you're famous, and now they're stuck. If they ban Hasan now, they admit he broke the rules. If they don't, they risk massive blowback the moment someone else imitates the same behavior. It's not just about terms of service anymore. It's about platform liability. Now let's talk about Hasan's final defense: deflection, mockery, and cult logic. Instead of addressing the legal concerns or apologizing to the innocent person he falsely doxed, Hasan doubled down. He mocked Legal Mindset as a fake lawyer, dismissed his viewers' concerns as drama addiction, and portrayed himself as the real victim. And that's his playbook. Always has been. Anyone who criticizes him, labeled as right-wing, outright, or reactionary. Even if the critic is someone like Ethan Klein, who shares most of Hasan's political views, one disagreement is all it takes. Suddenly, you're the enemy. Even his own chat can't breathe wrong without getting flamed. Asked a question Hasan doesn't like, or too dumb to understand politics, try to hold him accountable. You're a Nazi. Mention an actual court case, you're just jealous. It's not analysis, it's cult behavior. Hasan has built a brand not on debate or discussion, but control. Control over the narrative, control over his orbiters, control over his image. He mocks people who challenge him. He pretends none of the criticism matters. He laughs off legal claims while hiding behind Twitch's protection, like it's a fortress. But the cracks are showing. People like Teone are openly mocking him. Asmongold is calling out his double standards. Viewers are connecting the dots, and Twitch is running out of excuses. At some point, there will be a breaking point, whether it's advertisers pulling out, a major lawsuit landing, or a public disaster. Something's going to give. And when it does, it will put Hasan in the spotlight. There'll be Twitch, and all the favoritism, the silence, and the hypocrisy they've let slide for too long. Just when you think it couldn't get more unhinged, we enter the terrorist glazing arc of the Hasan cinematic universe. Believe it or not, an actual Houthi militant, yes, a self-declared member of a US-designated terrorist group, publicly voiced support for Hasan Piker online. And instead of stopping to ask, wait, why is a literal terrorist promoting me? Hasan just kept vibing. That's not just disturbing. That's a full-on international embarrassment. Because as someone who openly calls for violence against Americans is standing you, that's a sign, and not a good one. Now imagine if any other political streamer had that happen. If a conservative creator was suddenly praised by a known extremist, their entire career would get nuked. Sponsors would flee. Platforms would drop them. Journalists would write 1,000 articles. But for Hasan, no major pushback. No bans, no suspensions, just another Tuesday on stream. Even commentators pointed out how absurd this was. One said, If a terrorist group backed me, I'd be wondering what went wrong. Meanwhile, Hasan's over here ending like he just got a blue check mark on Twitter from ISIS. You have to ask yourself, when even literal terrorists are praising your content, what exactly are you saying? Now let's talk about the people who've been actually holding it down, the ones calling the circus what it is. Ethan Klein posted a throwback that really exposed the hypocrisy. He reminded everyone how Destiny's Kid got permabanned for a literal toy gun. Orange tip and everything. But Hasan doxes someone, waves a gun, gets a pat on the back. Then he brought up another example, Gideon. The guy got permabanned just for typing L+ ratio in a chat. Hasan doxes and threatens someone on stream, gets a vacation. And it doesn't stop there. Asmongold, never one to pull punches, straight up called Twitch's enforcement practices a joke. He pointed out the ridiculous contradiction of Hasan mocking passport bros while having reportedly visited a brothel in Germany that was later raided for trafficking. Like, that's not just hypocrisy, that's dark-level irony. The man who lectures others about morals and politics was partying in a place later investigated for exploitation. That's your revolutionary. Meanwhile, Teone went full scorched earth. He parodied Hasan's narcissism, joking about how he struts on stream pretending everyone's jealous of his looks, hairline, and Turkish pharmacy receipts. Then he mock threatens to dox someone and pull a fake gun. You know, the Hasan special, and asked the audience, think I'd get banned for that. Everyone knew the answer. Instant permaban. No questions asked, that's the difference. And here's where all comes crashing down. Not just for Hasan, but for Twitch itself. This isn't just drama anymore. This is a platform on the brink of implosion. Because Twitch isn't just ignoring a one-time mistake, it's building an entire culture of favoritism. You want to talk about actual danger? Let this slide too long, and some smaller creators going to mimic Hasan's behavior, dox someone, wave a fake gun, act out on stream, and something real will happen. Police will get called. Someone could get hurt. A lawsuit will hit. And when it does, Twitch won't be able to say they didn't see it coming, because everyone sees it coming. The message Twitch is sending right now is, if you're big, political, and protected, you can do whatever you want. Threaten people, dox the wrong guy, wave weapons, shrug it off. But if you're a small creator or you don't fit the agenda, you're gone, no mercy. So now all the smaller creators, the ones who've been banned for far less, are watching, they're waiting, and some are even lawyering up. The next step, a potential class action. Because if Twitch continues to hand out punishments based on favoritism instead of policy, then every banned creator with lost income has a legitimate reason to sue. And the only reason it hasn't happened yet is that most streamers don't have the time or money. But that's changing. The more Twitch slips, the more fuel they give their critics. And the Hasan situation, that's gasoline. So what's next? Maybe Twitch finally steps up and hands out a real ban. Maybe advertisers step in and start pulling out. Maybe Amazon gets involved when the legal headaches start piling up. Or maybe nothing changes. Maybe Twitch doubles down, Hasan keeps spinning the truth, and the platform just quietly bleeds until there's nothing left but TikTok clones and copyright lawsuits. But one thing's clear, everyone's watching now. And if Twitch doesn't get its act together soon, this whole house of cards is going to crash hard.